guests and other people in Toastmasters. I'm still learning exactly what to say and call everybody. But I'm very glad to be here today. Today I'm giving my icebreaker speech. I'm going to talk about myself. It was hard to do that in 5 to 7 minutes because I love myself. But I was able to dummy it down and really make it so we can all get a benefit. So I'm going to begin. I was born a king. The Bible that I study says that a child, although he is born a king, may lose his kingdom because he's not prepared. So, I was born Jasir Shelton on October 22nd of 1973 in Trenton, New Jersey, to my mother, Bernice Johnson. We then moved to Detroit area in 1981, where she met a lovely man of God who was also a pastor. His name was Charles Michael Johnson. So being born into a single household with my mother and then coming to Detroit, I'm an only child, so we had a very tight bond from a very young age, and we still do. She was in town this weekend for Mother's Day, so I got to fellowship with her and celebrate her life and what she's meant to my life. So in this process from being born, coming to Detroit, I went to Cass Technical High School here in Detroit. I was raised here. I grew up in the city of Detroit. I had a lot of lovely experiences. As a kid, I ran track, pretty much from a youth all the way to I was actually 20 years old. So most of my life I was an athlete. Actually in high school, I got to actually be a track captain. So that helped me to have a lot of leadership skills and to learn to have a lot of grouping together other men, that I had done that already since I was a young boy. So then I was nurtured. After 1981 and my mother marrying Charles Johnson, I then had a father, which was amazing to have. Being 9 years old and just having a woman all that time, I loved my mom, but there were some things that I didn't have that my father was able to give me. So I was very happy the day that she married my father, Charles Michael Johnson, who is now going on, he is now deceased, but he still lives a lasting legacy in myself. And he really helped to nurture me and to help me grow and develop as a man from a boy into an adult because I was born a king. So then going into high school, leaving Cass Technical High School, I then had an academic scholarship to Iowa State University. Now, as I mentioned, I grew up in Detroit, Michigan. And if you know where Iowa's at, it's totally different from Michigan. People always ask, what was the biggest issue going there? I grew up very in a, per se, segregated lifestyle growing up with mostly Black Americans in Detroit, Michigan. And going to rural Iowa was totally different from a cultural standpoint. But it wasn't the biggest problem or issue for me was going from being mostly a minority situation or being the majority to being then a minority mostly, because I had been around and I was in clubs and played sports, so I wasn't just locked into the city of Detroit. But the issue was going from the hard concrete pavement to nothing but dirt roads and cornfields. That was totally different. I had never in my life even seen a live cow before I went to Iowa. You don't just have cows running down 7 Mile in Detroit. So I'd see one on TV, but never seen one in person. And then my first girlfriend in college from Oklahoma. And she had seen these cows all of her life and even did what they call cow tipping, which, again, being from Detroit, I didn't know the cow slept standing up. So that was amazing for me to learn these type of things and to see the animals and the nature. I recall very vividly on the road to college, we pulled up for rest, and we got in the car. I looked up at the sky, and I'm like, Mom, Dad, they have stars everywhere. Like it was a different atmosphere than here in Detroit. But now realizing the small, you see the big stars here, but there were just a galaxy of stars you can see in rural communities. So really the vision of life and just what I can see from the nature really expanded my mentality of just what our society has to offer. Just seeing the trees and the grass and just the sun as it rises and falls, that was a lot of my nurturing as a person. So it really helped my diversity, not just from a social level, to be in a room like this that's very diverse, but even the fact that now through my job, I've worked in very rural parts of America. I've had to walk through mud and dirt to get to some of my appointments, but I was prepared for that during my nurturing. So then I was sent. In 1998, I was called into the gospel. I'm also a licensed and ordained minister. And I've been doing that since 1998. So I was sent at that point. I say I was sent because I literally had a daytime vision, okay? And everybody has different beliefs in religion, and that's not the point today, but I had a vision, okay? And it was told that I should go to Iowa, where I had went years ago for college. I didn't like Iowa. I don't know if I mentioned that. So am I explaining the fun and all of that? I didn't like it as much to want to go back and live again. Okay, I enjoyed my time in the city. I wanted to go back to the city. So when I was sent there, had an awesome opportunity. I was trained by some other ministers there to really be able to teach and to speak and articulate what God was saying. I wanted to be told. And from that time in Iowa, I was then sent to Michigan again for 3 more years. I was then sent to Missouri for 3.5 years. I was then sent to Mississippi for 3 years, doing the same work, assisting pastors, growing their churches, teaching and training people. I do a lot of outreach things. So we're setting up food pantries. We're going into nursing homes. We're going into the urban environments. We're going into the jails, into the detention centers. So I have a very full life of social services and customer service, I like to call it, for the community. Just love to do that. So this summer, I was sent back to Michigan. Very happy to be back home. Although my last 3 years were in Mississippi, so coming back to Michigan, I was happy to be coming back home for family and friends, but the 70-degree weather in Mississippi, 80-degree weather on an average basis, and I was used to the winter. I grew up here. I went to college in Iowa. I lived in Chicago for a period of time. But coming back the worst winter in history in Michigan, this was like I chose the wrong year to come back to Michigan. I feel like my skin is just not prepared for it anymore. I was colder than I should have been. But being here and being sent here, I was able to overcome those obstacles, those things that may have deterred me from wanting to be here, and to really grab hold of my destiny and why I was here. Which brings me to me being crowned. What does that mean? As I said, I was born Jasir Shelton. My name is now Jasir Adeyemi. In 1995, again, doing another vision, I was suggested that I should change my last name. My last name, Adeyemi, is a Nigerian word that means the crown suits me well. So when I say I was crowned, I'm not literally a king of Zamumba, if you've seen that movie. But in my household, I do try to be the king. So I do thank you all for sharing my life experiences that I compiled into this time frame, from being born a king to being crowned a king, and hopefully walking before you as I should as a king. Thank you very much.